What's up, guys? This is Vu Nguyen from Gelish. I'm here at Lynamy in Chicago. Come on by, join us. We've got all the products here for you. We're gonna show Gelish Dip. With Gelish Dip, it is a very easy, very fast system. So the first thing, I have my sample nail here. I remove the shine using the 180 side grit of the buffer here. So shine has been removed. The first step is very easy to see. Step number 1 is labeled on the bottle. Step number 1 is going to be our prep. We're going to go ahead and apply our prep to the client's nail. Apply prep. And let that dry. It only takes a few seconds for that to dry. Then while that's drying, we're going to shake up our powder. The color we chose was Tahiti Hottie. And shake it up. The reason why we shake it up is because we want to put some air into it, make it very easy for the finger to go into the powder. Next, we have our step number 2 here. This is our base coat. So our base coat, we're going to apply 75%. The reason why we apply 75% is we want the cuticle area to be nice and thin. So we're going to go ahead and apply 75% of the base coat. Make sure you apply very even and then go right into the powder. Tap off any excess dust. We're going to go right back in. If you see any dark or shiny spots, it means it can absorb more powder. We're going to dust off any excess dust here. So we had a nice even application. You see the color looks very vibrant. Part of that is because of how we formulated and mixed this color and how we milled it. It's very finely milled. You're gonna have a very, very fine powder. Now we're gonna go 100% with our base coat. Go all the way to the cuticle on this one. We're gonna tap off any excess. Now if you see any dark spots or shiny spots right here, that means that it can absorb a little more in that cuticle area. Tap off any excess. Then I'm gonna dust off any excess powder. So now it's fully covered. If I see any little areas that could absorb more, I go back in. And that's a basic rule with dip. Remember, when you're using dip, you are using a resin-based product. So the base coat and the top coat, they're both resin-based. So we're gonna go ahead and close this up. We're done with our powder part. Now we're gonna go into step number 3. This is our activator. With our activator, what it is something that makes everything dry and clear. So I like to call activator our LED in a light, or in a bottle, our LED light in a bottle. We don't need an LED light with this system. We're gonna go ahead and apply our activator. This is what makes everything dry. So we've applied our activator. We're gonna allow the activator to do its job anywhere from 20 to 30 seconds. Everything is very easily labeled on the bottle so you don't miss your steps. However, once we allow this to dry, we're gonna go back to step number 2 and we're gonna apply a base coat on top of this coat, acting as a protective covering. So we're gonna go back to our base coat. We allowed it about 20 to 30 seconds for it to do its job. Now, if you're having problems where your base coat bottle, the brush is getting hard, you're not allowing it enough time for the activator to do its job and some is still left on the surface. In those situations, we just want to apply very gently. Don't apply a lot of pressure. Do a very gentle application of base coat. Just like that. We don't want the brush from the base coat on top of a nail with activator, because it can activate your base coat and it can start to make the base coat start to dry. Once this starts to dry, we're gonna go ahead and buff it and shape it how we want to. Just like on our client, we would shape it, buff it, and then finish it off. You see it lost that glossy look. It's getting more of a textural look. Once it goes into that, you'll see like that area is dry. Some of the areas like here where it still looks wet, those areas are still wet. We have to wait a little bit for that to dry, but most of it's all dry. I can touch it without sticking to it. And now I'm just waiting for this little bit to dry. That's because it has a little bit more base coat. It's totally fine. We're still gonna shape and buff this nail. So I'm gonna take this nail, I'm gonna shape it like I would. Just like if it was a client here. And the reason why we did 75% and then 100%, because now it's thicker here and thinner around the cuticle. So now all I need to do is take my buffer. I'm gonna start with my 100 side of the buffer and then switch over to my 180 side of the buffer. But now I can easily buff and get that cuticle area nice and thin. Very easy to buff product. You don't have to have huge muscles or work out a lot to do this. This product's very easy to buff, very easy to file. Once I have my whole surface filed with the 100 side, I'll jump over to my 180 side. All right, so we've done that. A lot of people, what they do is after they finish with the 100, 180, they go right on to the finishing part and then wonder why they have scratches on their surface. I recommend going from a 220 to 80 for the following steps. Always doing the rougher side first and graduating to your smoother, higher grit side as a finish. So I did my 220 side, now I'm jumping over to my 280 side. And you'll see I already got the nail nice and smooth. It is super smooth already. And now when I apply my finish, I don't have to worry about there being scratches on the surface. I'm gonna take our nail surface cleanse and saturate my lint-free nail wipe. And we're going to cleanse the surface of this nail. All right, so now that the nail is clean, we're gonna allow that to evaporate. This is a key step that we don't want to skip, is the activator step. If you jump right into top coat, it will take forever to dry. So we want to make sure we go with our activator step. Apply your activator. Allow that 20-30 seconds for it to penetrate and do its job. While it's doing that, I'm going to explain a little bit about Brush Restorer. The only products you're ever going to need to use Brush Restorer with is going to be your base and your top coat. These two here. These two here are the only ones that will ever need to go into here. Now, when you do need to use Brush Restorer is when you open up your base or top coat, and if you pull it out and there's a string, like a spider web attached to your brush, then it's time for you to take this brush out and put it into this bottle. So you would clean off this brush. This one doesn't need it, you see there's no string, but you would clean this off and then place it in this bottle for about 5 to 10 minutes. After you have your brush clean, take it off, wipe off any excess, and then you should be good to go. So now, it's been over 20-30 seconds, which is fine. We're gonna take our lint-free nail wipe. This is gonna be free from any product. That's completely dry. We're gonna go ahead and remove any excess activator. And we do this so that your base or your top coat doesn't get activated. Take my top coat out, and I'm gonna apply 3 strokes, very thin application. I don't press down extremely hard, I glide it over. We're always gonna need at least 2 applications of top coat. So once this application loses that wet glossy look, then I'm gonna apply a second coat. And then that second coat will bring you that shine. Okay, it's starting to lose it where I first applied it. So now, once the whole thing goes, and it should go pretty quickly once you go from your pinky to your thumb on the other hand, once you go back to that pinky, this should be dry. So it should be very seamless application. We're gonna go ahead and apply our second coat of top coat. You see here, I'm doing very little pressure. I'm just gliding it on top, and this is how your finished look should look. Nice and shiny. Should be like a mirror-like finish. And I know not everybody can get this look on their first try. It does take some application practice, but if you happen to mess it up, there is a way you can fix it. You don't have to start all over. What you would do is go from your 220, 280 buffer, buff on both sides of that, and then you would switch over to your shining buffer, and your shining buffer is going to look like this. You're gonna use your blue side first and then finish with your white side, and that's how you're gonna fix any problems on your top coat with Gelish dip. So thank you guys very much. Hope you guys enjoyed our